Hi, it's your host, Sydney. Welcome back to another episode of Metabolism Diaries. Today's guest is Erykah. She talks a lot about how to maintain strength while on a GLP-1. She's lost over 100 pounds, and she talks about getting herself into the gym and prioritizing nutrition. I can't wait for you guys to hear this episode. If you have any questions after, leave them in the comments, and I'll make sure I answer them or Erykah.
I love this because I feel like there's not enough platforms where people can talk
Yeah,
about it openly and give people like a different perspective of just like what they see on like
exactly.
mainstream media.
So I know a little bit about when you started your journey and everything, but maybe for those who don't follow you, can you give a little bit of an overview of when you first started your GLP-1 journey?
Yeah, totally. So I started a little over 3 years ago, and it was like a point in my life where I like just had my last kid and I like needed to change something. And I was trying to do like counting my macros and working out, but I like wasn't seeing enough results with counting macros that it was hard for me to stick to a workout routine. And so I felt like nothing was changing physically either. So I met with a doctor and we did some like labs and we found that like my body just doesn't convert sugars the way that it should. So it was like storing more fat than it should. So they were like, let's try a GLP-1. And at that same time, I started a fitness, like a group
Awesome.
fitness class. And I knew I wanted to do them like simultaneously. Like I wanted to make sure that I was changing habits but also utilizing a GLP-1. And so I kind of just started there, and it's been like this life-changing
That's
experience ever
awesome.
since.
And yeah, I mean, one thing that I really see on your account is you're so strong. What advice
Thank
do you
you.
have for someone just starting out on their GLP-1 journey? I know it can be hard to like get yourself into the gym, but if you could share a little bit more about, the group fitness class and how you kind of evolved your workout routine.
Yeah, for sure. When I first started, so for reference, I'm 5'1", so I'm a really short person, and I was 220 pounds. And I was so insecure in my body that I was like, I can't go to a gym. Like, that's crazy. I don't know what I'm doing. I've never had any fitness experience or like any type of background like that. So, one of my friends was actually working out in a group fitness setting, and they're like, Erica, just come try it. And I was like, I don't want to. Like, only fit people are doing group fitness classes. And it really scared me. But I was like, you know what? I have to do something because I'm not staying consistent in the gym by myself. And then I thought, like, maybe having someone just tell me exactly what to do and how long to do it, maybe that type of environment would entice me. Like, it kind of took off some of the thinking
That makes
aspect of
sense.
working out. And yeah, so that's where I started. I really had to like figure out how I wanted my relationship with a GLP-1 and fitness to like work together, because I started just with like the normal dose. I was just seeing like my like normal
Okay.
doctor for it. So they weren't like super informed. I felt like it was more just like, here, try this, figure it out type of thing. And it was so long ago that like no one was really
Yeah.
talking about it. It was more like the cheating way. And so I felt like I was kind of going in blind, and I would take my dose and then I would feel myself like in the gym being like super tired and like fatigue, or like I was almost going to pass out because I just wasn't eating
Mm.
enough food. And so that's when I kind of had to take a shift, because I started to find a love for working out. And I was like, I can't not work out because I'm taking this, but like I'm seeing results on this GLP-1. So I kind of had to figure out how to do it
Yeah.
simultaneously. So I kind of like to call it like intuitively using my GLP-1. Like I would take a dose and then I would kind of like see how I did that week. And if I wasn't hitting my protein goal, then I would either like push out my next dose, or I would take another dose, but it would be less than what I did the
Okay.
week before. And I've kind of just like listened to how I was feeling
Yeah.
in the gym, because I knew the science behind it. Like, you have to eat in
Mhm.
order to gain muscle. And so that's kind of just been my mindset ever since. And it took me a lot longer to lose my weight. And like in the beginning of it, I was really frustrated because I was like, no, I'm seeing all these people and they're just like
Definitely,
shedding
yeah.
it. And it was really hard to not compare my results to someone else's results. And so, but now where I'm 3 years ahead, I'm so happy I did it the way I did because I have been able to like build muscle and retain it and like feel stronger and look stronger. And I feel like it's helped with like my elasticity in my skin. Where like I still struggle with loose skin because I lost over
Oh,
100 pounds. So there was a lot to lose, but I don't feel like I'm dealing with as many like sagging and loose skin issues as I could have as if I lost that whole 100 within
definitely.
like a
That
year.
makes so much sense. And I love your story so
Yeah.
much. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to start this podcast, Metabolism Diaries, and like the community is because there is a lot of pressure to compare yourself and compare yourself to other people's journeys and seeing people lose quickly. And, one thing I really admired about you and kind of took, I'm on GLP-1 too, and kind of took note for my own journey was just the strength that you had. And I think this makes so much sense learning more about your story, like how you prioritize the protein and you were willing to like kind of lose slowly. And I think there's a lot of rush to lose quickly, but it's about optimizing your health for the long term.
Yes.
Were there other things that you did to kind of help optimize your health, such as like supplements or anything else?
Yeah. After I started doing this for about a year and a half, and I was pretty close to my goal weight at that point, I still felt like there was like something just like
Mm,
off in my body. So I did go get like a whole hormone panel check. And I am almost 34. So I assumed after like having all my kids, like my hormones were going to be all over the place anyways. But I did start supplementing with testosterone because my testosterone levels were super low. And I've always taken creatine. It's in my
okay.
pre-workout. So I just take it with it. So it makes it's a little nice. And there was a few other hormonal medications that I had to take, but I think that just like aided in me feeling like my
Definitely.
optimal self. I don't know necessarily if it like helped with like my muscle retention or anything like that, but I did have to get like a whole hormone panel and like my progesterone was off and my thyroid was off and my testosterone was
That's so
low. So getting those things and like supplementing with that, it for sure helped. Like it was a good
Yeah, that
combination
definitely
of
makes
things.
sense. And have you been tracking your muscle loss or your muscle gain since being on the drug?
Yes. My gym, luckily, I had access to it's called an
Okay.
in-body scan. And I was very, very like mindful of where I was in my body. And so I would do these in-body scans like every quarter or so. And when I lost a good chunk of my weight, I did see my muscle drop, but that's just only natural. Like you have to lose weight and lose muscle in order to
Definitely.
gain it back. And so once I saw that drop and then once I like was kind of at like a good weight and I just like focused on weightlifting
Mhm.
and training that way, then my muscle mass just continually trended upwards. And there's times like I got the flu one time. Like it's something so simple like that. Like I got the flu, I wasn't eating enough, I wasn't working out, and so there was like a drop in my muscle mass, which it's crazy how quickly it
Yeah.
happens, but it does. But then like it's always just like trended upwards.
Definitely. What are like some of your favorite high protein snacks or things that you like to keep in the house?
Yes, yeah. So I had like a really hard relationship with food before starting a GLP-1. And so I couldn't like restrict myself because that would just put myself in like a mental space that just wasn't safe for me. So I only focused on hitting a protein goal. So I feel like I know my things that I like and I'm such a creature of habit. I literally have it with me. Like these Chobani yogurts,
I
they're
haven't
so
tried
good.
them. I actually saw
20
them
grams of
on your
protein.
social. I need to try those.
No, you need to try these. These are my favorite. And I also tell anyone who starts, I just know for a fact, and I'm a mom and I'm always on the go. So I have a protein shake in the morning, whether it's like Premier Protein or Nuri protein shakes, or like I really enjoy Clean Simple Eats protein powder where you have to like mix it yourself. But if I'm on the go, I'm for sure having a protein shake in the morning and then one at night, depending on like where I'm at with my goals. Cause if I just factor those two things in, I'm at least getting 60 grams of protein between those two drinks.
That's awesome.
And then I will like try to go for like, beef sticks or string
Mm.
cheese. I really like the Built protein bars, the puff ones. They're
Yeah.
really yummy. It's like a treat. Yeah, those ones are really good. I'm a sucker for like a sweet potato with ground beef on it. Like it's so simple. And then like adding cottage
Yum.
cheese. You wouldn't think like the combination, but it's easy and it's simple and it doesn't take much thought. I'm not a good cook at all. So like I need things that I can just like grab and go and
Yes.
like take very minimal
Yes.
effort.
um,
Yes, I was hopeful that it was gonna work. I was surprised with how many side effects I was feeling in the
okay.
beginning, and it was pretty rough in the beginning, like, I'm not gonna lie, and I didn't know if it was just, like, that's just how it was, and I was so desperate to have something work for
Mhm.
me that I was like, "Whatever, I'll just deal with these side effects, like, they suck." A lot of them were, like, digestion issues and, like, the sulfur burps,
Yeah.
and I started on semaglutide, and so because it was just the cheaper option at the time, and I just kind of stuck with it even though, like, I had moments where, like, I was feeling fine and great, but then when I wasn't feeling great, like, it really sucked, and I felt like I had probably a solid, like, 6 months to a year where it was very, like, up and down, and I just, like, pushed through. I was like, "I don't care. I'm seeing the results, and I'm just gonna deal with it." And I wish I would have known that you just didn't have to deal with those type of
Yeah.
things. Like, there's so many things that can aid in helping all of those, like, side effects. And when I talk to people and they're just starting, I'm like, "You have to understand, you are putting in a medication into your body, and even though like your body naturally produces a GLP-1, it's going to take time for it to get used to
Yes.
it. And so I wish I would have just known a few different things in the very beginning, like, getting on a digestive enzyme or getting something to help you stay like regular in your bowel movements. And even just like how much of a difference for me personally, switching from semaglutide to Tirzepatide. I experience next to
Oh,
nothing on
amazing.
Tirzepatide. And I wish I just would have like made that switch a lot
Yeah.
sooner so I wasn't just feeling crap so much, even though it was
Yep.
working. So, like, it kind of, like, I was tricking my mind being like, "It's okay, you can feel like
Yeah.
this because it's going to work." When if I would have just known certain things, like, I wouldn't have had to deal with
That
all of
makes
that.
sense. And I think, like, constipation is one of the biggest side effects of this drug and it slows down your digestion. And I'm definitely affected by it. And I realize, like, I've been so focused on protein as well that I haven't been eating as much fiber. And I'm like, okay, like, I need to start more on that.
Yes,
But
like, those 2 come like,
yes,
compound, yeah.
exactly. What else has helped you kind of keep your bowels regular that you would suggest?
I personally like to use it's like a digestive cleanse. I get it on Amazon. It's called Oxy
Okay.
Powder. And it's like oxygen powder. I think that's what like the full name of it. It's in like a glass bottle, black lid. I'm like trying to think what else, but it's just off of Amazon. And the second I started taking one of those every single night, I like regular
Oh,
every single
wow.
day, but it's not to the point where I'm like, this is probably so TMI. But like sometimes when you take a cleanse
Yes.
and like you're like, oh my gosh, if I don't go to the bathroom right this
Yes.
second, like it could be bad. It's if I just do one a night, and then sometimes I'm like, "Oh, I actually don't need one tonight." Like, I felt like I've been pretty regular for a few days. It's been my favorite thing. It's Oxy powder. I'll send
Okay.
you a link.
Very interesting. I'll need to check it out because I think, like, I don't know if you found this, but one of the things that I've had on my journey is I kind of wait for the problem and then I look like panic and look for the fix. And so I'm really trying to like get
Yes.
better at like, okay,
Yes.
you have a routine of taking this medication once a week. Also, like nightly, take your magnesium, take folate, like get in front of it so that you don't
Yes.
have a problem down the road. And as you said, your doctor didn't give you much information when you started this. And like, same with me. And I think that there
Mhm.
needs to be more, or something that I'm also trying to share is like these tips to kind of support your journey from day one so that you can avoid some of this.
Yes. Well, and it's also super hard because if you're in this, like, field of, like, wanting to
Yeah.
talk about it, I feel like social media is having a very hard time with, like, all of the AI bots,
Mhm.
like, censoring
Yes.
us because we're like not trying to promote unhealthy weight loss, but that's what they think we are
Yeah.
doing when we just even speak about a GLP-1. And I'm just like, no, I'm actually trying to help people. Like I'm trying to show them that like you can do this and like still eat protein, like eat food, like you're supposed to
Yes.
eat. Like you're not supposed to starve. We don't want
Yeah.
that. And like you said, getting ahead of the problem. I get a lot of questions about hair shedding.
Yes, I was gonna ask you about
And
that.
because yeah, because I lost my weight a lot slower, I personally didn't have to deal with any like noticeably like thinner
Okay,
hair.
amazing.
But I like want people to know that you're not losing your hair because of the GLP-1. You're losing hair because of a nutrition
Yeah,
deficiency. And so if you are using the medication in a way where you're not starving yourself and you are able to eat, then you won't have to deal with the issue of extreme hair loss. But it's like the people that aren't eating and they're losing all the weight, but then they're like, oh my gosh, and now I have no hair. And I'm like, well, because your body doesn't have any
yeah,
nutrients. Those two, that's the reason. It's not because of the GLP-1, it's because you're not eating.
definitely.
And so it's like one of those things. And some people will just have hair
Yes,
loss. Like it just is their body, it's their
yeah.
DNA. But being like proactive, like you said, and using something to help with hair loss before you get to the hair loss stage, like is a huge suggestion,
Definitely.
you
And I
know?
think like anyone listening to this who's just starting out their GLP-1 journey, just trust that you will lose the weight. It will happen. Cause I think I totally understand because I didn't believe that this would work for me too. And I think that's, such a common thing. But
Yeah.
as you were saying, and like, I think that there's just really no rush and that you will get to the weight that you want. And the way to like to optimize your journey for the long term is to do it slowly and work in the right habits, such as you did with the gym. I also wanted to talk a little bit about going off the medication because I think I recently saw on TikTok that you went off the medication. And how has that experience been for you going off and then going back on?
Yeah, no, that was crazy. I got put in a position where I was about to get a surgery done, and it was kind of like quickly put upon
Okay.
me. So they were like, you have to stop taking your GLP-1 right now because you have to be off it for X amount of weeks before you can get the
Hmm.
surgery. Just because you're not getting enough nutrition is one of the main things. So that helps with healing recovery time. And then because it slows your digestive down, they don't want you to aspirate when you're under anesthesia. And so there's just like a few things that like factors into it. So they're like, you just have to stop. And I was like, oh, wait. And I am to the point where I'm not doing weekly injections. I do mine like once every like 15
Okay.
days. And I had already it had already been 2 weeks prior before me from my last dose. And so when they're like, you just have to stop, your surgery's not for another 4 weeks. So that meant like I was gonna be off of it for like the longest time I've ever been off of it. And I was very surprised to see how quickly the inflammation in my body came back. And then when I weighed myself, like I thought I gained the weight, but then I went and did like an in body scan and it was like, no, you gained like 6 pounds of muscle and then 4 pounds of water retention. And so when people say like you get off of it and you just gain everything back, it's not necessarily true. Your body's holding on to things
Yes.
differently than when you use the medication. And it was pretty eye-opening. I'm not gonna lie, like, I thought I had more confidence in myself with where like, the progress that I've made, but seeing the scale go up and feeling just not as lean as I've felt in the past, it really got to me to where I had to be like, "Okay, maybe I have a little bit more work to do on myself other than just taking the
Mhm.
GLP-1." And it made me really look at my nutrition too, because I was off of it. My food noise came back. I was way hungrier and I was still trying to reach towards those higher, like protein filled foods and more fuller volume. But then there were some times where I just like would resort to the quickest
Mhm.
thing, which wasn't probably my best option. And so it really had me look at my nutrition a little bit more because when you're on a GLP-1, I feel like you can live a very nice life of like an 80-20% because you are just naturally eating less of the foods you're eating. So I know people that like don't change their diet at
Yeah.
all. And then they're still seeing results. And then if you get off of it and then you still stay that way, then they're like confused, like, what the heck?
Yeah.
What happened?
That
And when I felt that I didn't have my nutrition as locked in when I got back on it, I was like, okay, we got to circle back to that and just like understand that like this is something that we really have to be mindful
definitely.
of and not just like lean on the medication to, make sure you eat
Yeah.
less of it.
No, that makes sense. And How has, like, since losing 100 pounds, like, how has shopping been?
Yeah, no, that was one thing. I still have like body dysmorphia. Like I'll go shopping and I'll revert back to like my old sizing and I'm like, "Erica, you're not that size anymore. You can shop smaller. Like you need to shop smaller." But it's been really rewarding and I think seeing my muscles, like I can see my muscles and like that's been really rewarding for me to like feel stronger because I've never felt strong before in
That's
my life.
awesome.
Also, like, I have 3 kids. My oldest is 11, my youngest is 6, and they have never, like, said, "Mom, like, you look smaller or you look different." They always comment on, like, how strong I
Oh,
am,
that's amazing.
and that's one thing that I've always wanted to, like yeah, I've always wanted to, like, show them, like, "Mommy's doing these different things, and I'm working out, but it's because I wanna be stronger and healthier, not that I wanna be smaller,"
That's really
if
I
that
think
makes
that's such
sense.
an important message, and, I think there are a lot of moms out there who are taking GLP-1s, like, postpartum and all of that, and I think that's such an important
Yes.
thing for, me. I'm not a mom yet or anything like that, but, like, that's important for anyone regardless of, like, whether you're telling your kids or just telling yourself, and that's such a valuable message. What would be, like, your number one piece of advice to someone who's just starting out on this journey?
My biggest thing that I tell everyone is listen to your body. Your doctor's going to give you like a table, like a schedule of being like, okay, do this dose and then go up the next week and then go up the next week. But like, you don't actually have to do it that
Mhm.
way. You can, I really like, really, really focus people on listening to their body and how they're feeling and just like trust yourself and to not want it to be this like quick race. Like you want it to be you want it to be slow because then your weight loss is going to be more sustainable and just like all the things that I've said in the past of like the hair loss, the elasticity in your
Yeah.
skin, like everyone like comments on like Ozempic face or like Ozempic butt, like those things like that. If you just do it in a slower pace, I feel like a lot of those things can be avoided. So yeah, that is my biggest advice is just listen to your body, adjust when you need to. Don't think that it's like you have to do it this way or it's like end game.
Definitely. And I know from your social that you've been with your husband for many years. How did the conversation go
Yes.
when you told him you wanted to take a GLP-1? Or do you have any advice to someone who's kind of struggling with telling their partner about this?
Yeah, the nice thing is with mine and my husband's relationship is like we obviously respect each other so much, but like when it comes to like me and my body, like it's my body and it's my choice. And my husband has never made me feel ugly or like less attractive when I was at my heaviest, like after having all of my kids. And we joke about it. Like, I'll look back at pictures and I'm like, you liked that? Like, you liked that. That's crazy. Cause I just look at it and I just feel so unfortunately like ugly in the skin that I was in at that time. But yeah, no, he honestly just loves the era that I'm in right now of
Yeah.
just like fitness and bettering myself. So he's been my biggest
That's
cheerleader.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. Well, thank you so much. And I think your message is so important and it's something that I really admire. Thank you for sharing your story with Metabolism Diaries. Thanks so much for listening to today's episode. If you liked it, hit subscribe, send us a thumbs up, or leave a comment. I can't wait to meet you guys. You know where to find me at Metabolism Diaries on Instagram or TikTok or at Gallop Life. Come say hi, share your GLP-1 journey in the DMs with me if you'd like to do it privately or in the comments. And if you'd like to be on the podcast, send me a DM. I would love to meet all of you. See you guys next time.